Welcome back everyone to the Bucks County Conservation District's Backyard Vegetable Gardening web series. In our last video, we talked about creating an eco-friendly yard to promote water conservation. Today's video is going to be a continuation of that, focusing on soil conservation. Water and soil conservation go hand in hand. Oftentimes, soil must be protected in order to prevent damage from occurring to nearby water bodies. For example, cover crops promote both soil and water conservation, as they prevent soil erosion and runoff into nearby water bodies. Because of this, I'm going to go over a lot of tactics that were mentioned in the last video, but focus more on the soil protection side. Soil is one of our most precious but most underappreciated resources. The first reason it must be protected is simply because the time it took to make it. Thousands of years of wind, water, rock, and bacteria worked together to create the soil underneath your feet. And if it's not protected correctly, it could be depleted within a matter of only a few years. It also provides so many ecosystem services without us even noticing, including water filtration, carbon sequestration, and organic matter cycling. Lastly, it's one of the most diverse habitats in the world, housing millions of bacteria, fungi, insects, and other animals. Everyone needs to start protecting our soils, and there are so many little ways you can do that in your own backyard. The first thing you can do to protect your soil is to never keep it bare. Always have something growing no matter what it is. When your soil is completely bare, the top layer, which is rich in beneficial organic matter, is exposed to wind and rain, which can cause it to erode. If you can't have something actively growing on the soil to protect it, you can at least lay down mulch and leaf litter to protect it from this wind and rain. This is especially important to keep in mind if you have a backyard garden. Then you can make sure to plant a cover crop during the winter, or at least lay down mulch to protect it. If you have a garden in your yard, try and avoid tilling the soil if possible. Tillage is often done to prepare the soil before planting and help suppress weeds, but this soil disturbance can cause a variety of issues. The main concern is increased erosion, since the soil aggregates are being broken up and the top layer is being exposed. Each soil layer is distinct in its properties and services. So by tilling all of the layers together, you're undoing decades of important soil development. This doesn't mean you should never till, just do it sparingly if possible. It is so much easier to have a thriving garden in a no-till system than you think. The next important thing when practicing soil conservation is to have a variety of native plants growing in your yard, with a focus on the native and the variety part. First, native plants are so important because they're perfectly equipped to survive our local climates, and they have co-evolved with other native plants and animals. Second, having a variety of plants is really beneficial because each plant type provides a different benefit to the soil. For example, trees have extremely large, deep roots which hold tightly onto the soil below, while shallow-rooted crops focus on ground cover. Each plant type provides different benefits to the soil, such as reducing erosion and compaction, or promoting beneficial pollinators, insects, and microbes. Composting is a great way to recycle nutrients from food scraps and leaf litter and return them to the soil. It's so easy to have a bin outside where you throw out your eggshells, coffee grounds, banana peels, lawn clippings, and so much more. As they're decomposed by bacteria, they turn into a rich, fertile type of soil called humus that's very high in organic matter. You can then apply this finished compost to your gardens, increasing the fertility and structure of the soil. Another way to protect your soil is to prevent flooding. If the soil is sitting in still water for too long, it's under anaerobic conditions, which can kill the beneficial insects and bacteria living within it. The best way to prevent this from happening is to install a rain garden. Rain gardens can be placed in a low-lying spot where water tends to collect in order to prevent this flooding. They mainly consist of native, water-intensive, deep-rooted plants which thrive in these high water conditions. Since they have such deep, extensive root systems, they will be able to take up water much faster than grass alone, preventing your yard from flooding. Soil is a finite resource that we need to stop taking for granted. Years of erosion, compaction, and depletion will eventually destroy this precious resource. I hope that you learn to look differently at the world beneath your feet and that you take small steps in order to protect the soil in your own backyard. Next week, we're going to look at food waste and food insecurity. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.